Horror's been on a bit of a hot streak lately. Hokum and Obsession lit the box office on fire, but it looks like not every movie is pulling its weight and is being dragged down the highway like a bloody carcass. Check out our passenger review right now. Do it right now. Wardens, welcome back to the den. We saw another one. We're trying to keep horror's hot streak alive. I don't know if it's going to, though. King Z has some really disappointing news about it's not the passenger, it's just passenger, right?
Like just passenger.
Movie, they just slapped the word on the screen like bam, passenger.
This is not to be confused with the Chris Pratt Jennifer Lawrence movie.
Not that. Oh, that might have been a better movie. We didn't see that one though.
I saw it.
Was that the space movie?
Yeah.
Okay. No tangents. Not doing tangents. All right. Passenger. 2026. King, hit me with those Rotten Tomato numbers, right? Let's just start there.
So it is not being well received today on the tomatoes over there. The tomatoes. It at a critic level, it is at 44% as of Friday night, and a popcorn meter of 50%.
That's not looking good. And I think earlier you were talking about it's opening day Thursday night ticket sales were just over like 1 million or something like that. That's
1.1.
Yeah, it's not boding well. It's 50-50 critic popcorn split though.
Talking to the guy who was sitting next to us before the movie, he was like, "I'm not really seeing this as I want to see it. That I'm excited to see it. I just want to see it." He goes, "He's more
that guy in the head."
He's more excited to see the new Evil Dead burn.
I think, but that movie's going to have a lot of hype and marketing behind it, and that's got like a built-in fan base. And I think people just want to see what they can do next on that. This one here, I feel like this made all our hype lists earlier in the year. It's got that banger trailer, dude. Once again, dude, the hot streak continues for horror movie trailers this year. Dude, Hokum, Obsession, and Passenger all have banger trailers, all of them, right? And I heard somebody say earlier, and I thought this was a great point. The first 8 minutes of this movie are a perfect short film, and it should have just been its own thing. The scene we got from the trailer edited out into like its full length, right? It's like 7-8 minutes of like a guy, like a pair of dudes on a road trip that goes horribly wrong. Yeah. And like, that's the concept. Like, that's it. Like that 8 minutes is better than in my opinion, is better than everything that comes later. Like I could have just walked out of them 8 minutes and like, damn, that was legitimately chilling. The jump scare, or there were multiple jump scares in those 8 minutes, but like the crown jewel jump scare at the end of that they do show you in the trailer is pretty well, damn well staged. It's like, it's got that rhythm, boom, boom, jump scare. And when it does it, it's like, you can't help but startle. It was solid. But the rest of the movie, dude, I don't know. I don't know. It's tough to put my finger on. I want to hear what you got to say first. We'll figure it out.
So going into it, watching that, I agree with you. It's a perfect short film with that first opening 8 minutes, which was the teaser trailer, which also was the only trailer that you could only see in theaters, which I believe is a great bit of marketing, even though it did hurt it, I believe, overall for the Thursday release. And I think the scores are going to hurt it too, because I don't think the word of mouth is getting too strong on this one.
No.
But what I think they had was that idea, and then they tried to write a story about it. And then that's what we got. Like, how can we make this longer? Like, there's a lot of them. Like, I wrote a short script before, and I gave it to one of my friends to read. This is great. Can you make this a feature length? And then making a feature length ruined the whole thing for me, because I couldn't figure out how I would build it bigger. Like, how do I build this world bigger? And I just couldn't do it.
Dude, because
some things are meant to be built bigger.
Thank you, dude. Some things are meant to be short films, novellas, short stories, microfiction. Not everything needs to be a 600-page Sanderson bomb or like a 2-hour movie. I always mention on this channel that short film that got the feature-length adaptation, Lights Out. That was a badass, like 9-minute short film that was shot on a $0, might have been a negative budget, right? One location, 2 actors, done. Terrifying. It's got 30 trillion views on YouTube, and then they gave the guy X amount of millions of dollars to make the feature length, and it doesn't hit because they got to invent world building, which they did here. They got to expand the cast, which they did here. Then you got to get meaningful you got to get backstory and character motivations for multiple. which they did here. And I feel like I've seen all of it before in Passenger, with a couple of caveats of things I enjoyed. But I feel like the nicest thing I can say about Passenger is that I saw it, I wasn't bored. I don't mind having spent, movie night money on it. But if you ask me in December what my favorite part of the movie was, the only thing I'm going to remember is the trailer. Honestly, like everything else, it feels mostly forgettable to me here.
So when you're speaking about that short film going long, the way to do it, and I believe they do this right over at Film Riot, is they write the long first and then cut out, then
Yeah.
they condense it down to a short, which we also call in the industry a proof of concept. This is how you get backing. This is how you get money. This is what you expect if we make the full film. Here's the short film of it. Right. That's the way to do it, because you don't have to worry about how do I expand it. It's already expanded, and shrinking it also is very easy from an expanded world. So that is the way they should do it. But what they're doing with this director and the director from Obsession knocked it out of the park, but those were YouTube directors who did shorts that then turned them into long form. One did it quite successfully with Obsession, which might be the hit of the horror hit of the year, and
not even Loki. I mean, yeah.
And then you have a Passenger who, for everything that people are saying is wrong with it, did a lot of good things. Like I have a lot of good things to say about it.
Dude, I do, and
so I don't want to get you guys off thinking this is going to be a negative review. Like, you don't have to stay and see what we say at the end, but it's you don't have to stay and see. But I think what they missed was talking to the audience of what this is about. I believe the best line I saw on the Rotten Tomatoes reviews, and I believe they gave it a 4 out of 10. It was they didn't introduce anything new. All they did was put the haunted house on wheels.
Yeah, and that tracks. It's weird to be so meh on a movie, and like legit, like my notes, dude, I got like a half a page of like pros, I got like 2 or 3 cons, but like none of the pros were enough to move the needle where like I'm walking out of there like I walked out of. We're going to continue to compare this to Obsession because they came out like a week apart. Like it's unavoidable, I think. And everybody else is probably going to make that 1-2 punch comparison as well. There's just not enough in this that's new, besides I guess like the novelty concept of like van life, be like you said, haunted house on wheels, the van life experience, hobo code shoehorned in there a little bit,
And if you watch,
kind of nifty.
That was in Criminal Minds before they did in this movie.
I'm sure
there's a full episode on it.
You know what I mean? Like, but at the end of the day, that this is the same thing. It's basically It Follows. It's every movie ever where it's the I was gonna say the Grudge. You know what I mean? Like a spirit latches on, or Shudder. The spirit latches on to some unsuspecting dick bag, and bad things happen. And then do they win? Do they not win? I don't. This is but I want to do the end of the movie first, and then we can talk about the other stuff we like and didn't like. Do you think this movie would have hit harder or been worse off had it gone the bleak ending as opposed to the happy ending?
See, I have a secondary ending that I would have done. I thought about it after what I talked to people coming out of the theater who were sitting like 4 rows in front of us, what they thought, and they did not like the ending. That was the number one complaint, and that's pretty much the number one complaint I've seen on the Tomatoes too. Is the ending fell short.
Did you think it was a cop-out because they gave the happy ending? He said the thing.
I think basically what they were saying is that this is a one-off movie and we ended it. Don't worry, there will not be a sequel. I think that was the message.
What do you think of the story ending? Did you like the ending as it was, or did you want the bleaker, more horror movie ending?
I could get behind the ending just because of what they're trying to tell people, and what this new brand of filmmakers are telling is that everything doesn't have to be a sequel. This is a one-off movie that you can watch.
Okay. Now you mentioned a secondary ending that you had in mind. What is the King's brainstorm?
My brain started turning when. Okay, so first off, I have to say that Oracle actually went to this horror movie. She is not a horror movie fan. She went to this horror movie and watched it with me. So big props to her.
Big props to the Oracle. I still don't believe she went. I'm going to see a picture or something. I don't know.
So we were sitting on the drive back talking about it, and I said the ending that I could see that would have been really good is he comes in to save her from the burning church, and they walk out. And I knew what the ending was going to be immediately as soon as you saw the beginning. You know what the ending's going to be. When they walked out from the smoke, it's going to be them walking out of the church, married with the smoke and the birds flying. Like it was going to be that transition walk out. And then he's going to carry her over the threshold of their new house in a gated community, which they hid it at. And they close the door, and then you see 3 scratches coming across the door.
Because it follows, right?
Yeah.
I could have gone with that. And see, that's a way they could have done a little. I mean, I don't want to call it a post credit or a stinger, but that's a way you can have a little bit of fun with the audience, like mid credit roll, to say like, oh no, the story's not really over, but we're actually not making a sequel. You could have just had a little fun with that. That's like for as bad as it was, the ending to the original Halloween movie or the original Friday movie. You know what I mean? Freddy pulls mom through the door. Jason comes up out of the lake, grabs the chick. Like, they didn't know they were doing sequels back then yet. They just, that was just the last little gag for the audience. One last little, oh my God. Like, that's all. They could have done.
Yeah, especially because Nightmare on Elm Street 2 didn't even play on that. Didn't even mention that scene.
Nope. Like, no, fuck it. It was some new family lives in the house. That's it.
New family in the house.
New family in the house. We're going with Scream King instead of Scream Queen. Well, I mean, depending. So let me hit a couple of these things here and just kind of pick your brain, right? Right off the rip, we already said that this recycles a bunch of stuff from horror movies. There's a lot of tropey stuff in here. But one of the tropes I'm glad that they walked almost right up to the line and then pulled back from was the whole, we're the young engaged couple. We clearly love each other. They had decent chemistry. All that stuff worked for me, right? But usually in these movies, when the shit starts to hit the fan, it's usually the girl that's going through it and the guy that outright calls her fucking crazy and it just doesn't work out. My man Tyler did not go that route. He was like, wait, are you sure you saw something? Okay, cool. Let me go check it out. And he was just in. He was down for his woman. He was going to keep her safe at massive critical damage and threat to himself. He was willing to run that risk. So I like the fact
he played the true man role.
Yes, he did. He did 100%. He did not abandon the situation. He did not abandon her. He did not automatically discredit what she was seeing, what she was going through. And I feel like that's the easy money trope to build conflict into these movies. Paranormal Activity does this shit all the time. Lesser, crappier movies definitely do it all the time. I'm glad they didn't go that route. I just wanted to get your take on the couple. Were you down for the couple or no?
Oh, it showed a couple in a whole new light, that these two are a couple and they're going to battle through this stuff together.
Yep.
Though they're having issues with the lifestyle, which they hinted at the whole thing. Like this is new to them. One was all in, like he was all about it. He was straight into it. She was not. But the thing is that they had each other's back. They listened to each other. It was actually a good representation of a couple that is going through that initial stage of transforming from just a boyfriend, girlfriend into that marriage feel. Like that is a hard transition. There are so many people I know that dated for like 9, 10 years. Perfect couple. They get married and they're divorced in a year.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Dude, you're 100% right. But they gave you just enough character definition and development where they had a couple of conversations while they were driving where he came from a platonic home, stable roots, and was telling her, it's not always what it seemed. My parents fought behind closed doors all the time. It was awful. That's why I want to break out of my 9 to 5, hit the road with the van with you. You are my home. Right?
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where we lay our head. You are my home.
Right. And for her, she didn't have that. She came from a broken home. She was in the system. She got bounced from foster home to foster home, but she was still willing to go at least try the adventure with Tyler because she knew it was important to him. But then she hit that wall where she was like, dude, we've been out here like 6 weeks. It was cool at first, but like, I don't know, like, are we always going to worry about where we sleep night to night? Like, is it going to be safe? That was after some weird shit had already happened to her, to her credit. She didn't fold 3 days into the road trip. This was like 6-7 weeks into
it was more of when the creepy stuff started, is when the doubt really started setting in. And then the one time where they were in a neighborhood and they looked out the window and they saw she saw the house and they were doing a birthday party for the kids, and she's like, and then she's kind of looking around at her setting.
Right. Yeah, no, it was starting to grate on, but I liked it that that's as far as they went with that. They didn't come to blows. They didn't go their separate ways for the second act or anything like that, and then have to come back. They skipped all that shit, and I think it
Yeah.
was the better for it.
One of
Honestly,
the things that we talked about, which is going to get into one of my favorite parts of the movie, this plot point was outstanding. That was the Roman holiday. So what it looked like, what it was going to do first, and especially you were talking about like where they had that tension point where she's going through it and he's not. Like he doesn't know what she's talking about. Like the video was faded out when he tried to watch it, or he didn't see the passenger when she did in the video. And then it was right after her first physical engagement with the passenger. But that Roman holiday scene where they at where he finally sees it, like just pushing through the street. He's like, "You saw that, right?" Like it wasn't just her going through it and him thinking she's crazy or wanting to cancel this life. I think that was a good trope that they broke away from as well. But that Roman holiday scene, I think the director and your DP was outstanding in that. I was just like, I'm just like all into it. Like I was like giddy like a kid watching this scene.
Just describe for our people exactly how that scene went down. Like you're talking about when she's holding the projector, right?
Yes.
Explain a little bit. Give them the visual. Give them what's going on.
So this is one of the great things about van life is doing stuff like this, parking somewhere in a national park where you can camp for the night freely. And he set up a projector, a screen, and they're going to watch an old movie together. And so then the creepy stuff starts happening because, of course, they're being followed by a demon.
As it does.
So he's there, and like you see the face like pushing through the screen as he's walking up to investigate. And again, I like to say that he went to investigate, not her. Like, you stay there. Let me put myself in danger. Just like, you know, you're at home, you hear that noise, and you're like, Harold, wake up! I hear a noise. Like you want to send me to my death,
racking slides, but that's
that's what we're here to do. That's what we do.
Yep.
So he goes to, and then the face starts coming through, and he pulls down the curtain, and nothing there. And then he turns around like, "You saw that, right?" And then they start hearing noises around them because it moves. Yep. She grabs the projector and starts using it like a flashlight, where it's projecting the movie all over the woods. It was amazing. I thought that it built the tension. So cool. You know, no matter how people don't like the ending, they built tension from that point until the end of the movie. Is like tension's at a 10 the whole time. They definitely knew how to build tension in this movie. But he's going through, and then all of a sudden she stops, and it's right on the passenger, and the faces of the main character and the passenger line up perfectly. I'm like, oh, dude, give me more. Give me more.
Just the projector casting the image. It's nighttime in a forest, so there's lots of blue and silver moonlight. The light of the projector is putting the movie on gray trees. The scenes that they cut from the movie that she's projecting are all the concerned faces of people in the movie. Yeah, like, okay, this is kind of creepy.
That was really good.
I'll give them big credit for that.
Yeah, that is where points go up. Is like the way they shot this and their changing of stuff. Like they didn't invent anything new.
No, it's
a classic. They had a new way to look at it, and I like that.
Classic ghost story. They you got to. Then I know you're probably a big fan of the parking lot scene outside the gym.
Yes,
where every time she leaves the gym first, it's nighttime, Planet Fitness kind of gym.
Yep,
still working out. She leaves her, says, "Hey babe, I'll see you outside later," whatever. As she's going to the van, which they parked 9 rows away for some fucking reason. Don't ask. I don't know why they did that. Right.
One, it's bigger, so they probably didn't want to be by anybody. They just got the scratches fixed.
It's a Mercedes van. It only takes 2 spaces. It did need to be 10 rows out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Personal preference. I chalked it to personal preference. It wasn't enough to pull me out.
Dude, your personal preference should be safety for your woman at all times, and parking 12 rows deep is a dick move. I'm dying on that hill. But anyway, it's still a great scene. It's still a great scene. She's walking out, and they do the thing that good horror movies do. They got a couple of crackheads sitting in a car. They look at her. They don't say nothing. But she's smart. She looks at them, keeps walking. But now the van's a little further away, right? Car starts, drives out like it's coming over to Hassler, but then it just turns and goes.
Mm-hmm.
She looks back to the van, still pretty far away. Now they get into this 360 panoramic thing because now she's hearing shit. And again, sound design in this movie, again, on the heels of Obsession, on the heels of Hokum, awesome,
That
right?
is one thing the Oracle said. She's like, she can't
Heavy
wait to hear
footsteps.
your take on the sound design of this if you liked Obsession.
Loved it because you get the heavy footsteps and they're coming in close. Heavy boots coming. She's looking around, doesn't see shit. My theater was a basic bitch theater, so I know it's not the theater tech, but like the footsteps coming around me in real
Mm-hmm.
life, shivers down my spine. I'm watching. I'm looking at her, and the way they shot it was kind of like a one. I mean, there had to have been cuts. It wasn't a one shot, right? Because they
No,
kept
that to
cycling
do
back to
that,
the
there's no
van.
way you could do that
Right,
in a oneer.
right.
Unless they did it while it was back, but they would have to run reset real quick. You would see that. So there's a common cut point, and then they
Yep.
have to have the camera exactly back where
And
it was.
I think I heard that that's what they did because every time she gets done looking around, the van is now farther away. Now this is early enough in the movie where we don't know what the fuck's going on. Maybe she is crazy. Maybe she's going through some shit. We don't know. We find out later that the demon has unlimited cosmic power and can basically do whatever it wants. Right.
Mhm.
So we don't know if it was bending reality and making the van further away, but shit escalates quickly and then gets worse after she gets to the van. I don't even want to talk about that part because I think that'll ruin some of the movie for folks if we give away all the scares, but just the way they set up that
Yep.
confrontation was
And then
incredible.
making it
On
trying to
top of
look
that scene
like a
you just talked
oneer
about.
as well.
Right.
Like it,
It was
all
awesome.
it is that quick 2-3 second
Yep.
turnaround, and all of a sudden it's like you're rubber banded, like
Yep.
you're having latency in your shooter game.
Yeah, but I feel like this movie had a lot of. I'm just going to call them. I know there's probably technical terms. You can know them. You can tell everybody what they are. A lot of what they did here with their cinematography was very kinetic. There was always things moving, and it's always that thing we're talking about. We mentioned it in our Undertone review where we knew when the camera was going to approach the girl doing the podcast, right? That we should be concerned there's something behind her. And you're always nervous as the camera's resetting on her. The classic shots when somebody looks in a mirror, they look away and you look back and the monster's behind you in the mirror. But lately, what horror has been doing really well is letting the camera go past the person
Mm-hmm.
and into the negative space. So as the camera keeps moving past her, I'm like, oh shit, it's gonna be there. It's gonna be there. And then it's there. And then it was
Mm-hmm.
there. So like it pays off its little quick setup. It did that a lot. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that as a fan. I like that. It was fun. That
I
part was fun.
also enjoyed the way that they used tech in this, where the
Oh
tech
yeah.
was kind of
Yep.
always faulting, and they kept going back and back to like older tech each time. Like it was even down to like the analog stereo that he had to break later.
That was kind of
Uh,
funny. He punched
yeah,
it. He punched it to pieces. I'm like, wait a minute, that's on a Mercedes van. All
yeah,
right, maybe
exactly. Not a big screen,
touch
which
screen, fucking 3 foot
yeah,
touch screen on the dash, voice control,
yeah,
virtuous. Nah,
no,
twisties and knobs.
yeah, little knobbies.
For everything I enjoyed about this movie, I think it fell apart in a key area, and it's the area where we know that every story's been told, and that successful fiction now puts a fresh spin on something and solid performances and solid writing on top of that, which is again why Obsession is good. Obsession is not a
Mhm.
wholly original movie. The
Yep,
corrupted wish thing is older than time itself.
the loser who wants the hot
Right.
girl.
That's the trope, right? So this movie, it has an interesting premise. It's got the ghost on the road thing. It's got the van life thing. So that's the fresh
Mhm.
spin, right?
Yeah.
That's the fresh spin right there. But then, like at the 2/3, 3/4 point of the movie, um, Diane Larson shows up, or she re-shows up, and just lays out all this mythology and world building and rules and theorem and all kinds of stuff that sort of corroborates some of the things Maddie had learned along the way. Like she bought a book on like haunted highways at like a road stop. She was on her
Mhm.
computer after shit really started going. I mean, like they had been
Mhm.
attacked at that point. This wasn't speculation anymore. They knew, right? But I feel like that character showed up, and even though, and she was probably the best actress in the movie because she's
Oh yeah.
like you said earlier, she's won an award. She's won the best supporting actress,
Yeah, for
right?
the fighter.
For the fighter. She dumps all this crap, and then I'm like, oh, so at the end of the day, really, it is just a run of the mill demon that haunts highways, and we're gonna destroy it on holy ground. Like that became the plan. Is we got to find this church that nobody knows where it is, but I know where it is, and I'll take you there. But I died, and now you'll still randomly find it anyway because you read the two hobo signs in the middle of the desert. Okay, and then they did. I mean, they respected holy ground. You know that means a lot to me. I hate when there's demonic shit in movies and there's not that counterpoint balance from something better.
Mhm.
So they had that. I appreciate that, but it felt all very convenient in Deus Ex from the time they found Diane again, and even though more bad shit happened,
More bad stuff
it just
happened. Yeah.
it did. It just felt like it was like you guys really didn't know how to stick the landing on this. Okay.
So yeah, that was the part. Like once they found Diane again and started over, that's kind of where everyone has their issue right after that. But the one thing I did like in that whole scene where they go and find Diane, because I thought at first like we'd never see Diane again.
Yeah.
Diane was the harbinger. She was the
Yeah.
one who gives you the warning.
They played her up.
You
Yeah,
don't stop.
they
And
played her
she
up.
had the best line. It was people
there.
don't take trips. Trips
Take
take people.
Yep. Great line. That legitimately was a chilling line.
Yeah, and I think they could have done so much more with that. That's the part where with the end part. Like we're entering in Act 3 when bad things happen to Diane. Because it's moving to the planet.
Which was bad, dude. I thought at one point when they were first leaving, they had survived an attack. They were bought all the supplies. They bought all the St. Michael's medallions. They're driving out of town and they see a car crash on the side of the road with the body on the ground. I was betting bottom effing dollar that was Diane. I was like, oh,
I think that would have been better.
Maybe chalk it up to shit we could have helped.
Because then it would go into the rules because they knew the rules is that it was in that book. Don't stop. Don't ever stop.
And that's what
unless you stop at a truck stop or you stop somewhere to sleep or
or you go home or
but what they're saying is like if you see something on the side of the road like a crash or something like that, don't stop. Just keep going. Let the cops handle that.
And I kind of hate the morality of that. That kind of pisses me off, but I mean that's how that particular ghost story works. I'm a stopper. I've stopped multiple times in my life. I've gotten people out of cars. I've rendered aid. I've done all kinds of shit. So I kind of hate that. But the ghost story part was fine until literally, like we just said, the exposition dump at the end really was kind of like, oh, come on. This is
the one thing I was hoping that they didn't do because it is modern Hollywood is that they were going to make the religious relic like part of the problem instead of part of the solution. I was worried about that because they had the St. Christopher medallion, which is the patron saint of travel.
I said St. Michael. My bad. I meant St. Christopher. My bad.
Yeah, St. Christopher. And then they had a story about St. Christopher where he traveled with this monk, and then he found out that this monk was actually a demon. So he must have been a most powerful demon to a future saint couldn't detect that he was a demon. And it was about. So I looked up like St. Christopher. When does St. Christopher lives? They do not have a birth year for him. They don't know when he was born, but he died around 246 AD. And he was born in Canaan, which is a very biblical type region of the Middle East.
So that's, I mean, that's like interesting world building stuff, but I feel it came too late in the movie for me to really be like, all right, so you mentioned him, and now literally 5 seconds later, you're finding his church in the middle of, they were in the middle of like Arizona. Like
middle of Arizona,
right.
the Saint Christopher Church of the Traveler.
And then my final nitpick with that whole ending sequence is that dude had the SOS button, had clicked it, and like rescue they were there like 5 seconds after the defeat of the demon. I'm like, dude, where were you fucking not jamming the SOS button like 3 days ago? Because this thing's been tracking you for days.
And see, that's what I said at the very beginning of this review. If you saw the beginning, you know where the end is going to go because they had a very distinct scene about that damn box.
Pretty much. I mean, all in all, I mean, you got a good comment. We didn't really talk about scares specifically because I don't want to really ruin like the specifics of it, but I mean, you got a good variety of some creepy images over shoulders or things. You got plenty of loud startle scares, which I thought this movie didn't really need as many of those as they had because the sound design and the cinematography was so strong that every scare didn't require a blam sound.
Yeah. And I think some of the scares didn't. Like it was just that the sudden camera movement with no sound. There was a couple of those. Yeah. The one that got like we're talking about sound design. Let me go back to that sound design real quick because there was one that got me. Of course, the foot's going around the speakers. That was great. If you can build an Adobe 6.0 sound design, you're amazing. Yep. And that was one of them. She got fruit. And remember that scene I was telling you about where she's looking at the house and she sees the birthday party?
Yeah.
She was putting out fresh fruit in that one. Now, the very next day after the passenger first entered the car, but didn't do anything, that fruit was rotten
Yep.
to the core, but
Mhm.
there was a fly flying around, and
Zzz.
you didn't hear it up front. You felt it right next to you, like it was in the back of the van,
Yep.
and it was like, that is awesome. They got
Yep.
this one right.
It's the little things, it's the little touches like that, that again, dude, you've said this is your phrase on the channel, dude. Like, when you put professionals together and just let them go, like, that this is what you get, you know? And a lot of those things do make up for maybe a more paper thin story, maybe a not as strong as performances from the leads as it could have been. They were fine together, but no one's going to give either of them awards or more roles
Mm-mm.
based on this movie in the same way
And
Indian Everett's getting roles from Obsession. You know what I mean?
that
This
is
is
one
just
of the
fine.
other beautiful things about that, is that there's no real big name in this other than the Harbinger, Diane.
And,
She's the
it's
only big name in this.
support,
Everyone else is
right?
pretty much like brand new, or they've only been in like supporting roles,
Oh,
very few
except
lines.
the demon, because you told
Except
me
the
earlier,
demon,
this
who's in
guy,
122 horror movies, and he's the 18th of his family.
yeah, his name is,
Joseph Lopez,
yeah,
the 18th.
the 18th. Like, good God. Dude, I mean, I'll talk about one scene in particular, one good scare, because it's not more of a scare, it's more of a you think the end is upon them kind of thing. It's when there's the couple separated for a quick minute, and he gets Maddie on the road on her knees and just kind of gestures at her arms and gets
Oh,
them up
that was
like
really
this.
good.
And then his eyes light up gray. Right. I'm like, oh, dude, this is actually some creepy demon shit. And then, of course, it's the headlights that are
Yep,
coming through what his eyes lit up as. I'm like, that was pretty good. I kind
that
of
was
like
really
that.
good.
I
I
almost
think,
wish his eyes lit up more like that in different scenes, because they mostly just played it straight. Like, he's just a ghoulish looking dude. You know, like,
yeah,
there's not a lot in the way of creature design
and that was the things. Like, I think there should have been more to that. Like,
there.
you heard the dunk, and you think that she gets hit. I think she should have at least taken some damage on that.
Couldn't hurt. Couldn't hurt, because my
Yeah,
dude got hurt right before that and then still had it in him to run on that
yep,
leg.
yep.
All
I
right.
made that. I'm like, there's no way he's running right now.
No shot. Let's not. We don't need to tell him why, because that
Yeah,
is, again, that's an effectively tense scene that leading
yes,
into that
that was really,
injury.
like I said, they turned the tense level up. You're feeling tense.
Yeah,
They misstepped on a few of them. Like, they tried to do the 10 bat flip, and yeah, they kind of stumbled.
should have just kept it basic. So that's my thing. I mean, my final word on this whole thing is, I don't know why I can't give it a higher score than like the 6.5 out of 10 that I can give it. I don't know why, but something about this feels too, it was too easy. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm disproportionately weighting it from what happened at that after the death of the Harbinger. We'll just call it that, and everybody can go see it. I think they got off too easy. That whole last block was like, oh, I mean, it's cool how you defeated the demon, but that's not the kind of horror that I think I don't need the worst, bleakest ending ever anymore. But this was almost way too much birthday cake and rainbows here. You know,
Yeah,
nice little happy ending for the couple. What did you think? I mean, are you a 6.5? You an 8? Like, where are you on this one?
I'm right about 6.5. I had to
Okay.
bring some scores down. Coming out, like, after all the, like, my visual candy and my sound design
Yeah.
and the tense level, I was ready to be like, yes, this is another one. This,
Dude, I
that
had it
they
in
hit.
an, that's what I mean. I had it at like an
But then
8.
I sat down and thought about it.
Yep.
And then I'm like, and then also there's that manage of expectations, because we went into this super hype because of the
Yeah.
trailer. Like,
Yep.
this one shot the expectations up. I'm like, all right,
It really did. I don't know. There's just something to, like, on my drive home, I'm like, I'm actively like, yeah, but that and that and that and the ending. And
mm,
I got to land on like 6.5. I'd probably tell you, you could stream this and be very happy with your selection.
oh, I think you would enjoy this movie by watching it. I will say that right now. You'll enjoy it. You'll be happy that you watched it, but
Mhm.
it's nothing you're going to be like, hey guys, come over and watch this. This was that movie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, again, there's like YouTube right now is still full of videos that are dissecting Bear versus Freaky Nicky from Obsession, about who was the monster really the monster, or was the monster the guy that
Mm-mm.
did the thing and the thing. This movie's not, there's no lore theory videos coming on
No,
this, and that's
there's
okay. Not everything
nothing to
needs it.
break down. This is
Right.
a clear cut
Straight up
popcorn
face
movie. You
value.
don't have to think.
Yep. That's
So that's why I had to go down to that 6.5, because
yeah.
here's the other thing. I thought the final creature was that the ending was too easy.
Yeah. It really was.
I
It was
think the
just
ending was
drive
too
straight.
easy. I think it should have had go more into the Saint Christopher legend, and maybe they actually needed something from Saint Christopher, not just the holy ground of the church, but a relic from him to battle a demon that was so powerful he blanketed himself to a saint.
I think I would take you one thing further than that. I think that this whole movie was doing such a good job avoiding the trope of the guy's a mansplaining dick and the girl's really going through some shit.
Oh
And
yeah,
she's
they did great
poor.
on that.
Right. They avoided that, but then at the end, they yeeted him out of the van and she does the thing on her own. It should have taken both of them at the church because they decided they were going to get married to defeat the demon. It should have been a group effort there. That's a missed opportunity.
I could definitely say that, but it was, remember, it first attached to her, so I can understand
True,
why it was
she was the
her
one
demon
driving.
to bury.
Right. But that thing went out of its way to torture his ass. You know what I mean? So they were, I think by that point, them sharing a medallion or doing, I don't know, we'd have to put that up to one of our Winter Wolf's Den brainstorm sessions. It should have been the both of them in the church, since the whole point was they were starting a new life. They were leaving their home to go together to form a new home and to get married. They were already in the fucking church. Should have just done it. She could have just said "I do" under her breath or some shit because she hadn't yet, and then they could have went from there because they had that whole scene with the ring at the end anyway. They could have just moved that up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, here's my question of the movie for you. At the end, emergency services coming. They going to jail, right?
Oh, dude, they burned the church. They go in all kinds of jail.
Now, including they were the last people to see the Harbinger alive.
True. They do, because they got about 90 witnesses if they can find them. Be like, hey, these two showed up. Diane died viciously.
And then they left.
Then they ran. They're the only ones that ran. And that's smoke over yonder. That's them. And they burned a church. Going to jail.
Yep, they're going to jail. Definitely going to jail. All right.
Dude.
Well, that's going to do it for you guys. We're going to wrap it up right here. If you like this type of content, if you liked our review, go ahead and hit that like button. If you liked everything that we do or you want to see more of it, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. We do have a membership program. Go ahead and get that, and we still have free gifts to give out. So if you hop on that right now, I'll be able to get that in the mail for you.
Oh, we just talked about Passenger for 40 minutes. And I guess the question for you guys is, are you ready to ride? You ready to hit that open road? Just remember one thing. You're out there, you drive during the day, never at night, and you never, ever stop. Ever.